Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for tuning back into the channel, much appreciated. And today's video, if I can do it, we got some noisy geese up in front of me. I guess maybe they got some babies on a nest here that don't like me around, but I'm gonna try to get through it anyway. Gonna do a tip today, or gonna share some secrets with you guys, what I've learned about fishing bridge pilings. And really there's not a lot on YouTube about bridge piling fishing, and they're one of the top structures you can fish. Man, I'm telling you guys, anywhere across the country where there's bridge pilings, there's usually bass on them. And a lot of it depends on a lot of different, considerations like current, type of species of fish in the lake, water visibility, a little bit of time of year. So there's a lot of different factors that make up how you need to approach and how you need to fish bridge pilings. But what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna take you to a piling. I'm gonna explain to you basically how these fish position around a piling and the best ways to catch them under a variety of conditions. So here we go. Okay guys, here's your typical bridge piling. I'm just going to break this down a little bit and sort of show you how you need to approach it and how these fish set up on it. This right here, as you can see, this part right here that I'm focused on is the downstream section of the bridge piling. This is, and depending upon the current that you have, you've got different type of current levels, as far as it's going to create basically an eddy behind this particular area right here. Now, common thinking, a lot of people would think that, okay, that's the best area to fish right here because there's an eddy, it's away from the current. That's not necessarily the case a lot of times. You can catch some fish in this type of areas, but the areas that I want to really show you guys about are the sides of the pilings right here. Now, what you have on this is the sweet spot for most bridge pilings, because it may not look like it here, but a lot of these pilings, they have different types of structures under the water here. And a lot of those structures you can't see will break the current. And also, when you get around the front side here of the piling, now this right here in the front side is the up current side of it. There is a current break that naturally occurs right through here. And these fish really like to set up on the side of these pilings, even if you have a significant amount of current. This is a key area for this type of water. Also, I found in my own bridge piling fishing, depending upon the current again, if you have a light to moderate current, the front side of the bridge pilings can actually be more productive than the back sides that have the eddy on them for whatever reason. Now, a lot of it has to do with the way the water hits the front of these things. There's probably some current breaks under the water that we can't see, but a lot of it, like I said, it depends on the flow of the current, water visibility, and that type of stuff. But in my opinion, when you're approaching these bridge pilings, I do always hit the ends, you can't miss that. But my key cast on any bridge piling comes down the sides right here. I want to make a long cast down the side of these bridge pilings right here, and sometimes I'll get the strike at the very end of it there, sometimes at the down current side, but most of the time your better fish are going to come right on the side of the pilings, even if you have a significant amount of current. Let's talk about the other variables that determine how you want to fish these particular pilings and that type of stuff. Bridge piling fishing, to me, the number one variable that you have in it is your water clarity. The water clarity, for the most part, will dictate the techniques. It'll dictate how deep you need to fish on the pilings, and a lot of it is that combined with the species of fish you have in the lake and the time of year. What you're going to find in general is when you have water visibility that is clear, like over 4 foot of visibility, and I'll sort of grade it like under 2 foot, 2 to 4 foot, and over 4 foot. When you have water visibilities that are clear over 4 foot, you've got a lot of bass using different water columns in it. You can have some bass that are hanging out near the surface all the time. You can have them 5 foot down, or they could be 25 or 30 foot down. I prefer to fish bridge pilings in clear water simply because it gives me more options. It gives me more variables. Because, if the water's warm enough, I can catch a fish on a topwater lure around it. I can catch them on a jerk bait. I can catch them on a drop shot. I can catch them on a swim bait. Particularly if you have a lake that has mixed species. Mixed species like spotted bass, smallmouth, and largemouth. So my ideal bridge piling to fish is clear water over 4 foot on lakes that have mixed species. That's when bridge pilings are absolutely at their best. Now, a lot of the lakes we have across the country, and I'm on Lake Pickwick right here, you know, practicing for the Bass Open. You've got, you know, probably 2 to 3 foot of visibility here. And in this particular situation, it's going to limit the depth that those fish use on the bridge pilings. When you're in 2 to 4 foot of visibility, you're going to find that most of the time those bass are setting up anywhere between, say, 3 to possibly 10 foot down. That's usually the key depth. And then if you're fishing a body of water that has less than 2 foot of visibility on it, that is when the bridge piling fishing is not quite as good, and you sort of have to concentrate on the shallower pilings, the shallower ends next to the bank in a little bit shallower water. Now, technique and presentation for this, my number one bait for a bridge piling by far is a swim bait. You know, I'll throw, you know, like a 3-inch, some type of a paddle tail swimmer, like the 3-inch megabass spark shad, 4-inch megabass spark shad on like a maybe 1/4 ounce jig head. I really like the swim bait because I can fish it through a lot of different water columns. I can cast it easily. I can make long casts. It's a real versatile bait to fish around a bridge piling. My second choice in a bridge piling fishing is a drop shot. A drop shot is extremely effective on bridge piers. I can make, depending upon the size of drop shot I'm using, and normally I like to use a light sinker like an 1/8 or 3/16, and I'll cast it, you know, far up current, and I'll shake it back along the side of those pilings. Again, I can control the depth. And another thing about a drop shot is you can get next to those down current or the up current sides, and once you've made a cast and you've exhausted the cast down the sides of the pilings, you can get up close and you can drop that bait vertical down on those current breaks or in front of it. And a lot of times you can catch a lot of spotted bass doing this, or smallmouth if you have smallmouth in the lake there. So swim bait and drop shot are the top two. One of the best ways to catch them, if you've got water temperatures that are over 70 degrees like we're getting, you know, going to have here in most parts of the country over the next few weeks, a topwater bait, a walking topwater bait is an excellent lure to bring those fish up. If you have water visibilities over 3 feet, make a long cast down the side of those pilings, and that'll pull those fish up out of 10 or 15 feet of water a lot of times. And so the lure technique, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can catch them on there. That's just a few of my favorites. It's really just up to your you know, experimenting, you know, based upon the conditions you have. One final thing here I want to remind you guys is when you're fishing bridge pilings, don't forget to fish the area between the pilings, because a lot of times on a lake, particularly where you don't have a current, and if you've got either cold water or warm water, these bass will suspend. Boy, these geese are pretty loud over there. These bass will suspend in between the pilings, and they'll just get out there and basically, you know, follow the shad. And you know, if the water's really cold or really warm, one of the favorite ways I like to fish these areas is to graph between the pilings, look for suspended fish, and fish those fish once I find them with the swim bait or the drop shot. So anyway, that's just a few bridge piling tips, guys. Like I said, bridge pilings can be awesome. You know, there's like Lake Gunnersville, you know, there's been giant bags caught on Alabama rigs around them. You know, there's been several Bassmasters Classics almost won around them. They're a really consistent way to catch fish throughout the year. A lot of times they don't produce quality fish, they produce keeper fish, but at times they can. And I don't pass them up a lot of times. If there's one in the area and I'm fishing around the area, I usually hit it or give it a shot, just, you know, because you never know when you might catch, you know, a decent keeper that you need in the tournament. So anyway, I'm going to get back to practicing here, guys. Hope you all are having a good day, and we'll talk to you later.